Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. I am Doug Sassery, and as always, I am joined by
Rob Mendiola.
Yeah, I think this is episode 11. Even though you never know where we're gonna,
I haven't been keeping track.
where we're gonna place it, and then actually, I don't know. We've got some that might be incorrect. I think we might be more. I think that we've published 10, but we have a few in the can. They we get them as we can, and we put a few away each time.
I mean, we've been doing pretty good, coming in and getting something out, or down really.
Yeah.
In preparation for getting it out.
I agree. So. My kids, they're all in their 20s, and my oldest is 30, but my kids got they got a little snarky on me, and yesterday goes, I said, I heard you said lazy kids. I was like, oh man.
Oh no, they caught you.
Boy, they caught me. They're listening, which is good.
Yeah. But good and bad.
By the time this comes out, we might be close to Father's Day, and I can tell you, and they know it, that the greatest thing I ever became in life was a father.
Wow.
So yeah.
They're going to remind you of that lazy kid stuff.
Oh, yeah. I told Laura, thank God she came around. They'd probably put me in a home. But I think today we're kind of freelancing. It's just us two. And we're going to, I think we're going to label this Whatcha Watching 1. Because we'll probably I know we will do this again ever so often. We don't want to do it every month, but whenever the streaming flips, we'll do it. But it'll be about what we're watching right now on streaming. What's drawing our interest. And I know people give me hints all the time, especially on podcast. And
maybe we'll have to do a what you listening to.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too. That's a good move. Talking about off subject but on subject, what you're watching. Last night I was the young guys in 307 Departure.
You were out at their shop yesterday, right?
Yeah, I was, and they have their rehearsal. They have a compound, and it's so funny. The mom showed me something, and I had only seen this once before. Okay, you've seen Step Brothers, right?
Yes, before.
Thank God.
Parts of it.
I was scared you would say, no, I never have. Did you see the end when he does, he sings the Bocelli? I'm going to miss that guy's name up. I'm sorry. The one that has no sight, but a beautiful singer.
Is it Andre Bocello?
Yeah, there you go. Something close
like
enough.
That, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Will Ferrell and the other guy.
I don't remember the other guy.
Well, Will Ferrell was the guy that was singing, and he sang that operatic part.
Mm-hmm.
It just was,
was it really him singing?
I'm not sure, but it was perfect in that movie. Okay, let's just say it's the movie. Well, what's so funny is earlier this year, the ticket I listened to in Dallas, they have a thing where they have a ticket stock, and they have all their mostly all the people on the air and the engineers and all. They perform some kind of skit usually on the Saturday night. And one of the engineers got up there because they have one guy that's a drummer that he works on the board or something. And I'll be damned if they didn't. One guy sang it perfectly, and another guy came in and played the drums best he could. Well, it's funny. Yesterday at that, Kellen Moore, not the former Cowboys offensive coordinator, and current Chargers offensive coordinator, but Kellen, the singer from 307, his mom showed me a video of him doing that and singing. I was like, oh, my God. I said, does he actually know what the words mean? Because, it's all in Italian, And she said, yeah, he's got it pretty much down. I was like,
wow.
was highly impressed because
that's impressive.
Very beautiful song. But I wouldn't guess that too many people would, be able to pull that off. But,
he seems like the type that would go for it, though.
Yeah, him and his brother, they take turns singing it. But Kellen he's the older brother, so he pushes forward. He's the
he's got a lot of confidence too.
Yeah,
so.
I told him, I said, "Now, hey, look, no Oasis brothers and no Black Crowes brothers throwing down at each other years from now. Keep it together, you know." But
money and fame will do that to you, though.
Yeah, let's hope they all do well. But you never know.
Maybe not that well.
Yeah, you never know. But we're talking about what we're watching right now, and I was going to ask you what are you watching? I know you're new. Look, interrupting Doug, but I cut the cord years ago, man. I probably had DirecTV. I had cable for years, then I had DirecTV, and God, we're paying over $200 something.
Yes.
But eventually I said, like it is now, I don't watch a ton of TV. Well, look, I started. Eventually, I came back because I couldn't miss LSU football. It would have been. It was too hard. So I got the one that had the best sports package options on it that came automatically in it for me.
That's funny.
Was YouTube TV.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
and I went with that.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, it's in fact I want to say I saw. You never know about those things that pop up on Google. Plus, hey, it's them. But it said something like they were the fourth largest TV provider now. Now I'm not sure if that's accurate, but a lot of people.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
That package is it's about 70 something. When I first started, it was about
that's
49 or 54. Yeah.
Okay, it's not
a month.
Oh, a month.
A month. Yes.
Oh, wow, that's pretty high.
Hey, look, I used to pay $200.
That's just for sports or just all?
No, everything.
All TV.
Yeah, everything. Now it used to be about $49 to $54 maybe after taxes, and then, man, they added Yellowstone and price.
But Yellowstone's on Netflix too, right? Or no?
No,
it's only on YouTube.
It's on. I guess it's at NBC, but it's on Paramount, which is NBC owned. So they show it, or Peacock, whichever one it is. I think it's Peacock. But they offer a lot of channels that there's no way in hell I'm going to watch.
You got it kind of exclusively for the sports packages.
Yeah, I wanted to see the sports, but also I'll say this about YouTube TV. You have unlimited DVR. So, like for instance, I click on there was a series on Netflix, War on the Pacific, and I could just click on the little cross there, the little plus sign, and it will record that entire series, and it'll be there as long as I want, and I can record whatever I want forever. There's no limit of what you can put on there. Like a lot of them will say you can store this much, and then it's full.
And that all goes to the cloud, I guess.
Yes.
Oh wow,
and it's
very cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Wow.
And,
I wasn't even aware you could do that. I mean,
that's I don't know why anybody would be grounded to a cable anymore.
Yeah, well, cable, you had the box, and that was your storage.
Yeah, and the thing is, I would never go. The package deal with the phone. I don't know. How many people have a home phone anymore? Anyhow,
right? Yeah.
You don't need it for your security system. You don't need it for anything now, basically. And I think that does but some people got that package, and I was like, nah, you're not getting me on that one, because I have no use for a phone.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm doing YouTube TV, but I'll tell you what else we have. We also have Netflix.
We just got Netflix.
Yes.
Just barely.
Boy, they've been raising the price on that thing.
Yeah, and they've been losing subscribers, naturally. I think that's going to be just something that happens,
Yeah, and they do, but they offer a lot of good shows, and they do pretty good on their own series, and they have some great documentaries. And so, it's a player in most people's houses. It's so funny. I can remember when Netflix was the mail the disc out and get it back, and I did that for my mom too. I got a subscription once for her so she could have
about
them.
that. Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that time actually existed. And then, we think back to Blockbuster and then oh my God.
Big clunky VHS.
Yeah, my dad I remember when they were first coming out and you had to choose one or the other. My dad went with Sony Betamax. Now, allegedly, from what everybody tells me in that technology, that it was a better system, but whatever, it wasn't. I guess it wasn't as the cheaper was the VHS, and the VHS just took it. That was no. My dad was stuck with that system forever for life. So that kind of scarred me on. Never wire this completely through your house because if this ever, I'm big.
Which is nice. You don't have to do that nowadays. It's all wireless.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Pick it up and scrap it.
That's right. Yeah. They also have Prime Video, which anybody that's
Prime.
Yeah, anybody that's got Amazon. That's
Amazon Prime.
That's probably one of the bigger bargains ever. Is that you can get.
You get the streaming for movies and
you get music too,
and music. Yes, music.
Yeah, and there's actually books on there as well.
Books.
But
they give you so many free books and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but
it's not a bad deal.
No, and I forget about the. I forget that they have video. Every once in a while, I have to go. Oh yeah, that's right. I have to go and check those channels, and then click on the free to me. Which ones? Right. So but we also have Apple TV.
Yeah, I don't have Apple TV.
I didn't know if I was ever going to watch that, get Apple TV, but they had, what was the original? It was a show, speaking of Step Brothers, the one that played the brother in that movie.
He's the guy with the real curly hair, correct?
No, but no, the mean brother, the one that, remember, okay, here it is. Remember the one singing the song, and he was driving the SUV with his family. Yeah, that guy, and I have it.
So there's another movie with him.
Yeah, his name is Adam Scott. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, and he's in a series called Severance.
Okay,
and I've gotten into that quite a bit. We both love that series, and then there's some. I think there's a series called To Tell the Truth or something. It's about actually. It's about podcasting. Oh no, Truth Be Told is the name of it.
Okay.
And it's about a podcaster who does she does cold cases and real crime, and
the show is about a
podcaster, but she gets involved in and it's good. I like it, and
so that's more like crime drama type stuff.
Well, hers is hers is it very much is and it's. Like Severance, it's 8-10 episodes, and
the Severance isn't a crime drama.
No, Severance
it's comedy.
No, it's it's a show about nothing. No, it's a show it would be Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It is
right.
It is. It's a show about basically if you could have one part of you that would stay at work. And one part of you at home. It's like Severance. They're severing.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's weird. I mean, it's even hard to explain.
Weird.
Yeah. I didn't know if I'd get into it, but kind of like Breaking Bad. Once you get it past about episode 3, then it just takes off.
I've never watched that.
It was hard for me on Breaking Bad when I first started, and I let my son keep watching, and he left me behind. Mm-hmm. And then I came back, and I was like, oh, my God. And by the end of that series, I watched the season finale the night after it came on because I had had mega watched episodes at days and nights, so.
Same with Game of Thrones. I never watched any of the Game of Thrones.
You weren't supposed to say that out loud.
Oh, well, no, that's a bad thing, right? I know I heard everyone talking about it and it's like greatest thing on earth, but I never watched any of that.
I mean, they had some episodes, man, like the Red Wedding episode, which I thought was maybe the greatest episode of TV I'd ever watched in my life. And that's saying something, I mean, most people have, but, they had a couple good ones, but man, that was
There's so many people that were hooked on that,
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
And now they have
all the quotes when you're out.
Yeah.
When you're out, at the bars and stuff, and you're hearing all the quotes, and they're like, "Oh, that's Game of Thrones,"
Yeah, there's they made one spinoff so far, and they have another I think on the way. The one we're watching now, season 1 in it, but it won't be back until I want to say next year, till 24. So they're making us wait. I think it also plus there's a writer's strike right now, I believe. So that's.
Heard something about that.
Yeah, in fact, I remember when that happened last time, and it killed like a couple shows that I loved. And I was like, oh, I was so angry about that, man. Yeah. So, but
I know we've kind of bounced. At first we had like Hulu, and then we had like Prime, and then we got Paramount, and then I think she like watched everything on those, and then there was like no updated shows, so. That's when she looked for Netflix and what was on there,
I don't think that's a bad idea at all. And the reason why I'm going to tell you is because you're going to see how many that I have. And I think I was thinking about that. Like,
so do you like cancel one and
I don't think that's
jump to the other one? And
I don't think that's bad because
go back to it when they have
go
new
back
seasons.
to it like go back in 2 or 3 months. Why not?
Because you're not locked in, right?
No contract. That's a good thing, But so
I imagine most people probably do that then.
I think it's a smart move, especially with so many out there, because, I had Sling at one time too, and I can't remember what else I had. I had a couple different, but just trying, and then
and it gives the other the other streamers, the people that are putting the content together, it gives them motivation to come up with new material and shows, right?
Yeah, and
if they see people dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to do something to get them back.
That's right.
So
now you also have to. You also have to be very careful of, like they sign these big deals with. Well, who's going to pay for that? Well, one thing YouTube TV did is, and I was glad that they did it. You get paid for it separately. Is they got the rights to the NFL package, which had been, choke locked by.
So like
by DirecTV forever. So
ESPN, does that have all the sports stuff too, or no?
No, they still, it does. But still, this is the NFL Sunday Ticket, which in other words, like you can watch every game with the exception of your home market if it's not sold out. So I can watch the Saints anytime now. I can watch it from my phone or whatever at home. And I can watch the Bengals because they have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, big fans of because they played for LSU. Yeah, so and the wife can watch the Cowboys, and life is good for everyone.
Good,
yeah, so I did it.
That's funny because whenever I had cable, I was always the one that said, "I want the package with no sports."
Oh God, that's
and they were like, "What?
What?
Who are you?" Yeah, because I think everybody was always after the sports package.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now I did enjoy, the fights, the UFC fights and the boxing and stuff like that. Boxing's gone so down, but it just seems like it's trying to come back a little bit.
And which is so funny. I used to be a big fan of boxing, and I'm showing my age with Sugar Ray Leonard and Ali and all that
greats.
Yeah, and then up through Tyson. But then I to me, I don't know, maybe it's after all the concussion stuff. The UFC stuff just seems so violent, man.
It is totally violent.
So it's
these guys are hungry, man. They're trying to make some money. So. So you have to be entertaining, as well. So it's a good balance. They do.
They showboat. They got
But I do miss. I miss watching that on cable and streaming. I don't know that you can find the fights on streaming, but I haven't really looked at honestly.
So many of them on pay-per-view now. I can remember in my head the last heavyweight championship that was on normal TV was Larry Holmes versus Carl the Truth Williams.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that was like a Friday night fight or something, and that I think that was the last ever. Ever since then, that's been forever. And they've been all on pay-per-view.
And that's probably why it's going down, because not everybody wants to pay for that,
Yeah, we used to always get together, me and my roommates, and watch Tyson fight, because that was always you had to.
It was
watch
always
that.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he was a performer as well.
But now Hulu. I currently have that because we went with the when Disney came out, we went with that 3 package where you get a discounted. You get them all together. You get Disney Plus, you get Hulu with the ads, and then you get ESPN Plus, which they have some stuff that I really
Disney's
like.
not just a whole bunch of children movies and.
Oh God, no, man! No, it's The Mandalorian and all kind of.
I've never seen that either. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that either.
Yeah, I know. No, I actually watched season 1, but I haven't even watched season 2, and it's completely done. I'm getting ready for season 3. It's actually the season 1 was really good. I need to watch. I've been behind. Like I said, sometimes on TV, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but sometimes on TV, I just...
Is The Mandalorian a movie or is it a series?
No, it's a series, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a series.
Wow.
And we also, because of my son, have the Criterion channel. This is a lot of, as you can tell, old movies. I mean, foreign movies.
Like 80s movies or older?
Oh, no. I'm talking about
like
black and white, but 50s, 60s. Yeah, and they have foreign films, and my son is studying.
And see, I like foreign films, and I can't watch them here. 'Cause she's like, no, she can't do them. And I dig them, but
yeah, well, my son is studying, and he's in that curriculum with media, film, and all that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Nice.
at University of Houston, and he's the one that loves that. So I indulged him on that so he could have that in his bag of tricks, and he does like watching it. And there's stuff on there that I like plenty of times, but like I said, it's just finding time to watch anything, period. Yeah. Like I said, Disney Plus was in there. We also have HBO Max because of all those other reasons. Now, that could be definitely one that, like Max and Netflix, both could be one that I could watch and tell, watch all the shows, and then we're going to switch. But I haven't done that yet because, HBO Max, of all of them, they get the most. Netflix charges more, but then HBO Max is probably second on that. But they have a lot of good content, man.
HBO Max?
Yeah. They do. And now
Netflix seems like they have quite a bit of stuff as well.
Netflix has got a ton of stuff, man. And
it seems like it'd be hard to get through all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what you could watch, I guess, if you're bored. But man, it's just we have to set aside time just to watch TV, or we won't do it. But it's good together time, so we definitely do that. And I was going to tell you, we also have, now everybody also, these are free. Crackle,
they're free streaming.
Crackle's free. Tubi,
I've
is
seen
free. Pluto TV is free.
Seen that one?
Yeah.
Those are the apps, the streaming apps, what they call them, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could get them on, if you have Roku or whatever, but you can also get them on your phone and App Store, So
we use the Amazon Fire Stick, I think it's called. Is that what do you use for?
Oh, I think, man, we used to have. I had the Apple TV thing, which is funny. That's almost obsolete now because, I mean, anything that comes on your phone, you can put it on your TV, And in fact, I have another streaming service I'll tell you about in a second that they're not on Roku yet or whatever. So, but you can go directly to your phone. I'll tell you, and that one would be MGM Plus.
Okay, yeah.
Which I just added out recently because those are pretty cheap. MGM, and there's another one I can't remember. They were like $40-something for a year.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, I'll do that because there's a lot of stuff.
Bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Considering you used to pay $200 a month over.
Yes.
I know. I think ours was like $220 a month.
It's insane. It was insane.
Cable. Yeah. It was a little ridiculous.
And but we also have Peacock and Paramount Plus. Now, I think Paramount Plus is the one that comes with the Walmart. If you're a Walmart Plus member, in other words, like you don't pay for delivery. I mean, you got a tip, but you don't pay for the delivery charge.
Is that like the Sam's Club thing or no?
No, this is different. Like when
Okay.
when Walmart started doing delivery, which was before the pandemic.
Okay.
But when they started doing delivery, I signed up. It's like $99 a year. It's like an Amazon thing, and they do free delivery. So you order something, and I tell them, hey, you know, if I get in the morning, I can usually get in the afternoon. You can also do doing an ad now for Walmart, but we can do you can also do hey, I need it in 2 hours less, and it pretty much comes right away. They just have to depend on how much stuff, and that one will cost you 10 no matter what, but it's worth it. If, you know, there's times when I'm cooking and I can't get away, but but with the Walmart thing, one of the perks, the side perks that you get is you get the Paramount and Peacock. I think it's Paramount that they give you Paramount Plus included for free.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's a good gimme. And then also have something called Friendly TV, which that was another 40 something a year. They show a lot of odd shows, a lot of old shows. Okay. But I gave it a try. And now Voodoo, I only if I'm gonna buy. Man, that is so rare when I've used that before.
Voodoo, I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, and the Plex is the same way.
You said you like documentaries. Like what's some good ones you've watched?
Jesus, man, name it. I've seen so many of them, man. You know, if they
but like what do you kind of like go for usually?
Man, I'm a big history nerd.
History, yeah,
and geology. You know, any of those things.
Crime.
Yeah, I mean crime.
I think a lot of people like that. Yeah.
There is during the pandemic, I watched The Pharmacist on Netflix.
Okay.
And it was about a pharmacist whose son had died he got shot, but he was buying opioids and St. Bernard, and then
like on the street, you mean?
Yeah, he went from St. Bernard Parish, he went into New Orleans. Was like, hey, this is back home. Plus, my dad used to be a pharmacist, so I'm like, well, Louisiana pharmacist. Let me see, you know. And it dealt with the opioid, and the dad, which you can't blame him. You know, he delved deeper and deeper, and not just who.
And drug dealers aren't called pharmacists, are they?
No, they're not. No, and it's not only who had shot and killed his son, but he wanted to know why this was going on as a pharmacist. So I can't tell you how good of a watch this is and how informing it is. It talked about Purdue Pharma, which was the maker,
right?
And doctors who were being like pill mills, and the salesman that would go to those doctors and say, "Hey, push this," you know. And man, I just couldn't believe it. Well, then I watched.
So they get more money. Was there's an incentive to get?
There was some kind of
bonuses
boy,
the
salesman were making some serious cash, man. And the
so it's always about money, right? I mean, everything.
Yeah, just pretty much, man. You know, and who's got a conscience? You know, that's you know, it's know who you're dealing with. But they had doctors. They had one doctor in particular that they were showing, and she had a clinic. Dude, it was open like past midnight. Wow. Like, in other words, you know what they were doing, you know? And
they were dealing drugs, basically.
Yeah, that's basically what she was doing.
It wasn't legitimate.
No.
That doesn't sound like it anyways.
And, she got in a bad accident and basically she had to forfeit her license, but she got in a bad accident, and they just they didn't deal with it anymore after that. I think they just but it was a sad story all the way around, you know, for her. But I mean, of course, for the tons of people that came through her thing, you know,
it doesn't only affect those people that are getting them; it affects everyone in their lives as well.
Oh my God, I can tell you that. And pretty much, I'm pretty sure most people we know can attest to that.
A bunch of families get affected by that, you know.
And then, but to go on that, they talked about Purdue Pharma, who, I mean, this pharmacist was, you know, he went to who killed his son. Then he went, who's supplying? Why do we have this? Then he went, well, who's the manufacturer? And he went and tried to get, man, he was.
So he wanted the big fish.
He's a dedicated father, man. And
he wanted the big fish to go down, yeah.
And what, there's another, then that led me down the rabbit hole to watch Crime of the Century. and it's even more about Purdue Pharma and the family that owns it. It's a family company, and how they, I mean, you can't, the drugs that they were selling.
You wonder if they're just that disconnected, from like what their product is doing, or if they have full knowledge of what's going on.
Oh, they did, because they had,
so?
They had, they were talking about pushing that product, I just, just to no end.
And knowing the effects it was
knowing
having.
the effects, but it was so very profitable for them, and that's
they just saw their bank accounts getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and that company eventually went, they lawsuits, but they still got printing money,
I'm sure.
But that was a good one, and they also had a third movie, which I can't remember the name of it now, but it was just unbelievably fantastic. And anything on that, I
now
think,
that was focused on Louisiana, but that's kind of everywhere, right? The whole problem.
Yeah, it started, like I said, the pharmacist was the one that led me into it, and then the others, wow, just so eye opening. I mean, the opioid crisis, but when they couldn't get that anymore, they turned to heroin. So I mean, it's I pull for all the addicts out there that I want them to get clean, but I won't let them step over people, because I've seen it happen. Like we talked about that with families. There's so much collateral damage. And
sure.
Where you feel sorry, but you have to put a stop to it, because if not, man, it will just your life, their life, everybody in that family's life. So.
Yeah, you got to have some boundaries.
Yeah, there definitely is. There's another one. I mean, there's so many good documentaries on there. But
I'm still trying to get to Some Kind of Monster. I still have not watched that, and that's been out for a while, right?
Oh my God, man!
Yeah,
that's been.
I don't know where I've been.
And I'll tell you, there's a second. They have a second film that's on Netflix. Well, it was, and.
I've been practicing my Metallica licks. That's what it is.
Well, it's time to break that one out. They were very angry during Some Kind of Monster,
Yeah.
They
they went through their whole drug phase as well, and I mean, I think still, there's still some challenges there.
I think
but
I think a lot of people that deal, I mean, wow, without getting into it, I guess the ones that I think a lot of times when it's. But we've known people that struggle with it, and they've contained the collateral damage. There's some that can exist, and there's some that can't. And it just, that's the ones that are kind of a little bit, to me at least, a little bit more toxic. But that's
it's good stuff. I know I need to catch up on a lot of shows, and
because you've
I think the latest one that I've done is Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that's
from start to finish. And
that's so funny. I've never watched that. Now I watched the original,
and that takes a lot of effort to get through something like that. Through a series of them.
Oh yeah,
what do you call them? Seasons.
Look, well, how many episodes?
It was quite a few actually, and they weren't very long, but still, it does take effort to make time to watch it. And it's like, by the time you know it, you've already gone through a few seasons. And I think it was like 5 seasons, I think.
Well, I can tell you this, on both Lost, the series, the ABC series.
Oh, I could never watch that. It was out there.
It was out there. That and True Blood.
Yeah, we watched True Blood.
Yeah, see, I had to. Louisiana based, man. I had to watch it.
Yeah.
But they
the opening scene was my favorite.
Yeah,
and the music,
the music was great.
Yeah.
But they didn't have, and some of the product placement was really good in True Blood too.
Right.
But they
what product did they have in there?
They might have had a little green can in there.
Yeah, he had some green cans. Yeah.
Up on Nanny or Grandma's stove up there, but they those two shows were the first ones that I didn't get in right away, but both of them I jumped on.
Oh yeah.
Like I finished binge watching season 1 and 2 of those shows to watch season 3 like the next night.
Yeah.
So in other words, I watched complete seasons over about a 2-week.
Well, I think we had cable still when we watched True Blood, and you actually had to wait till that new one came out.
Yeah.
The next
I had
week
to go.
or whatever.
I think I had to go and buy the DVDs. Man. Yeah. So I had a lot of those.
It was a good one. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show. Of course, toward the end they started getting a little goofy and weird, but that happens on a lot of shows, I think.
Well, it's
they
called,
start running out of things.
You know what the term for that is?
No,
right?
I don't.
It's called jumping the shark. And you know why?
Mm-mm.
I was a big fan of when I was a little kid of the show, Happy Days.
Oh, yeah.
And there was an episode when Fonzie jumped over a shark at Arnold's in the parking lot, and it was in a tank. And they kept, when you go to that period of your show, you're jumping the shark.
You should be done.
Yeah, so
time to wrap it up.
Yeah, and I actually thought that show was still good at that point, but it did.
Happy Days?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't have a bunch of stuff to watch back then.
No, we didn't. We only had like 3 or 4. We had 3 choices, maybe 4 if you count PBS,
Right.
Which, no offense to PBS, they put out some good stuff. But, no, I mean, any of the Ken Burn documentaries are really good.
Have you seen that movie Blonde?
No, I've never seen it. It's a movie or series?
It's a movie, I think.
Is it on?
It's on Netflix, I think.
I'll tell you this. It's
about Marilyn Monroe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. You know how you can find any series that you want or even a movie? There's an app called Just Watch.
Oh, wow.
And you can go on that.
Just Watch.
Just Watch.
That's an app itself.
Yeah. You go on there and you type in BLONDE.
Mm-hmm.
And Blonde comes up in the show. It's available on Netflix.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you put in what series, what.
And what's that called again?
It's called Just Watch.
Just Watch. Okay.
Just Watch app. Yeah.
Okay.
And that always tells me, I'm like, am I going to have to pay for this, or am I already paying for the millions? So
it does seem like they rack up, right? Like by the time you have several streaming.
Services.
But you're not alone. There's 78% of U.S. Americans who stream and pay for services.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think that's a bad idea to, like you said, actually cut some out for a while.
Yeah,
binge watch, cut some out, and then come back. Because as long as you don't have contracts,
I think it's good because it forces them to work harder to bring something that you like.
Yeah, there is.
They have to stay on their toes.
Yeah, and they've been trying. Like I said, you have to watch them, make sure you don't spend too much damn money, because then that means your rates are going to go up, And,
or you're right back where you were when you were at cable,
Yeah, because then you had
over
this
$200 a month,
There's a new one. There's a new one on HBO Max called The White House Plumbers. Woody Harrelson's in that. He's playing Gordon Liddy. I want to watch that. I hadn't had the chance yet, but I definitely saved it because. That was it's a limited series, and I'm definitely the first. Well, I mean, it wasn't the first movie I watched, but I remember the first really adult. Now, when I say adult movie, I don't mean mean wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I mean
Can you get that on streaming?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no
adult movies.
No, I mean Cinemax. Skinemax is probably out there still, but no, my mom took me. I guess she wanted to see it, and maybe my dad did. I don't know. It didn't. I was a kid, and she went to see All the President's Men. Which you've ever heard of that before?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Woodward and Bernstein, and Redford and.
I've never watched it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and ever since then, I've just been obsessed with those type of movies and stuff. So I catch as many of those I can, and. Yeah, speaking of all
how many TVs do you have in your house?
We currently have.
Like, do you watch sometimes in one room and
3.
Laura's in another room, maybe?
We currently have 3.
Yeah.
I'm a little dry right now, and but there's 1 for gaming and 2 for TV. Yeah, that's how that works.
Exclusively for gaming. Cool.
The Xbox gets just basically gets that one.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah,
we got TVs floating around everywhere, but Yeah.
Sorry, man. I'm dry. But no, it used to not be that way. I mean, you used to couldn't wait to get another television, but it's funny now. Man, those TVs are so expensive now. I mean, they pretty much almost give them away. You know,
I have one on the table right now that I'm trying to decide if I'm going to buy another part for it or not. I've already fixed it 3 times, but I think we've had that for several years.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out and get a new one, fantastic one for $500, man.
I think I can get the part for like $40. So
yeah, I mean, what the deal is? You always weigh it like, man, with that new technology on there,
yeah. They're so cheap now.
They very much are, and so it's a lot easier now to go out and and do that, which normally you couldn't, but no. What else are you? What's going to be next for you to watch, man?
Man, I'm really gonna try to do some kind of monster, and they just released their new CD or new album, I guess you'd say, 72 Seasons. But I've kind of not been able to watch it too much, and I work so much. But I'm trying to get a little caught up on some of that. And I enjoy the music documentaries,
Boy, I tell you,
Eric Clapton,
oh God,
Ronnie James Dio, things like that are really cool for me.
That was really good. The Eagles one, the history of the Eagles is a 2-parter, like 1 and 2, but that might be the best one I've ever seen. But the one on Rush was fantastic. There's actually, because I'll watch any of them. There's one on. There is one on Dionne Warwick. I just watched that. I didn't listen. I listened to some of her music when I was growing up, but no, the documentaries really good because with any of these things, you learn. Oh, I didn't know they were involved with this person. Like Kenny Rogers had a lot of fingers, and he dealt with the Eagles when they were first starting. And you learn a lot of that by watching.
You learn of all the collaborations that they did together, and a lot of the studios shared musicians and stuff like that for session work.
And you never know that until you see that. But all those documentaries are there's some good ones out there and on the there's a few of them on the producers as well, like the guys behind the scenes, the guys that signed them to the record deals and all that are fantastic, man. I mean, you can stay on that for quite a while and be happy. And once again, you'll learn, stuff like My Way with Jerry Weintraub. That was an HBO one, which was fantastic. And he had his, he was in the Army, but he was started selling package deals for vacations. And he got into the music industry. He got into movies and. He was kind of like a before I guess music. I mean, he was more like the guy who would sell all kind of different acts, and and he got Elvis to go back on tour. He got Frank Sinatra to go back on tour. He's the one that did the Ocean's 11 movie, the one that they redid. The original. Dean Martin and all those guys, Sammy Davis Jr. When they redid them, when they redid it with Pitts and all those guys, he was behind that, and his story was incredible, man. It's fantastic. He passed away, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, but before he passed away, he was on that documentary as well.
You watch any documentaries on Bigfoot? I remember Stephen Pulley was telling me he's a real Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, no,
he's real into that.
Man, look, yes, Malcolm Springer, those guys, In fact, I can't wait till we talk to him because I know he'll tell us some stuff. But no, not too much. It used to interest me a lot more, and I guess the conspiracies that when I was a kid, I was so interested by conspiracies, but then
UFOs.
You have
like government conspiracies, you mean?
Just anything, but then today's world happened, and I'm like, well, okay, no, I didn't mean that, but yeah.
Man, this is a whole nother.
Yeah, it's a whole other box of cookies there, buddy. But yeah, you know,
and you can't even talk about it because, you know, people lose their minds over it, you know?
Yeah.
It's really a shame.
Just relax, people.
It's a shame.
Just relax.
It's a shame where we're at, man, you know, in the world.
I know. And that's why we have escapes like this one.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
But yeah, go out and enjoy some live music instead, man. You know.
There you go. But watch a movie.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Or a documentary, man.
Those are always good.
God, like I said, there's just so many of them. By the way, I did find that the third different thing on the opioid crisis, and they're all kind of tied into each other, you know, and they're done by different people, but it's called All the Beauty and All the Bloodshed. And it was fantastic as well, you know. So, but
is it too depressing though? Is it real too dark? Or?
No, I mean
because some of those could really kill your buzz, you know.
Yeah, but this one is more. It's very educational. There's stuff that you did not know happened. Like, you know, nobody knew that. I mean, you would hope that. Look, there's no such thing as fair in this world.
No.
But you would, and just like that, there's no such thing as conscience or moral compass that you would think that. You would hope that your fellow man operates on, but you know, a lot of
there's
people
money
don't.
Involved.
Yeah, but you know, there's people with money with a conscience too. It is a difference, you know, because I know tons of them, you know.
Yeah.
But
you're talking like hundreds of millions.
Yeah, when it becomes your world,
when it's like constant coming in, you know.
Yeah, when it becomes your world, and that's
really
all you
care
about, man. That's very sad, and so that's that's. But it's not. It's very educational. It opens your eyes to some stuff, you know. And there's no conspiracy about these things. You know, these are hard facts. And I
think some people just rather not know. You know, I think there's probably a lot that would rather not know.
That's me on some things that we don't talk about on this show. But yeah, on this thing, it's not bad to know about, you know.
Yeah.
But no. Go stream. This is Whatcha Watching.
And we'll be back with another Whatcha Watching.
Yeah, we'll get others out on this too.
I'll try to catch up on some shows and have a little bit more content to share.
We'll put some goggles on you and make it force stream you.
And tape the eyelids up. There you go.
That's exactly what we'll do.
Was that a Clockwork Orange they did? Something
yes,
like that?
That is exactly what it was. Yeah, I can still remember that show.
Yeah, that's been a while.
Yeah, that show still creeps me out, man. Yeah. But anyhow.
Okay, well, cool.
Yep. Thanks for joining us on the Nonsense Chronicles, and please like and subscribe.
There you go.
And we'll talk to you soon.